Hey, 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 welcome back to the Patriots Helping Patriots Network, y'all. We're going to pile on in the room a few minutes early before the president gives his main address, as he said earlier. So, after hearing Miss Caroline Leavitt today, I decided it would be a good idea for us to stream this very important address to the nation. According to what I've heard, we have some mainstream media backing down using censorship as their number one skill. So I figure we better chime in here and get this address out. We're all very curious as to what findings the president um, has found officially. So I'm going to go ahead and take us over to RSBN. If this stream gives us any problems, I will sign in and we'll go to Fox and see what they have going on for us. So let me get us on over there while we have people piling in the room and we'll get this party started. That's right, you guys. I am just Jody from the Patriots Helping Patriots podcast. I do the Java with Just Jody show. And I also do the PHP podcast. So I've been on leave for a while. It's great to be back. I'm going to come back hard next week, you guys, with Mr. Sheriff Mack. He will be in the house. F. Zyman possibly will be co-hosting that. If he cannot, then he will be joining me very soon on Thursday nights. So just so you know, we're going to go ahead and get this party started and I'm going to see y'all real soon. So let's get me moving out of here. Let's get this guy up here. Let's see what we can do with this stream. I would really like to hear what they have to say previous to the stream starting.
An issue. It is literally an up and a down. And you can go up with the MAGA Republicans and pass the Save America Act, or this country can go down in flames with the Democrats, their socialist policies, and their open borders.
West Virginia State Senator Chris Rose, thanks again for your friendship to the network. We'll talk to you later, Chris. Thank you again.
Thank you, my friend. God bless.
You too. God bless you, sir. You know, it's great to see the Mountaineer State, of course, that state and Oklahoma, all counties in both states going towards President Trump in 2024. And let's talk about 2020 quickly. You know, you look at 2016, the swing states go to President Trump. 2024, the 7 or 8 swing states, they go to President Trump. And all of those swing states somehow in 2020, didn't go to President Trump. We saw the pandemic happen with COVID. We know that that was the playbook there. And we have, the evidence and receipts that we've been talking about here at the network, we've been seeing on social media, and now in front of the country, and in some cases across the globe, the president's going to have evidence and receipts tonight that he's going to share with the American people. And no wonder the media is saying, we don't want to cover that. We don't want to cover the election.
There is so much media about to not cover this, you guys. That's why we're sitting here at the Patriots Helping Patriots Network. I will not be doing any commentary once the president arrives to the stage. However, prior to that, I will butt in if necessary. That is my job, y'all.
It's not just
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this stream. We need you here. That is why we're here.
And we love this nation, and we want the freedom to continue. We don't want to see what happened the other day in Fort Worth, Texas, where this police chief had to apologize because a number of officers were saying, your speech is offensive, and if it offends somebody, you're going to get written up for disorderly conduct. This is an actual story that I saw on Libs of TikTok. We talked about it earlier in the week. So if you get a chance, join us tomorrow here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and join us next week as we continue to cover the 24/7 news cycle from the lens, the perspective of the mass majority of the United States of America. The leftists, they sound like there's a lot of them out there. It's a lot of paid protesters, a lot of news networks on the wrong side of history, acting like there's a whole swath of these people. There's people out there, but we are the massive majority. It's the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's common sense. All right, let's go to some sponsors here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, Kalshi.com/RSBN. What will President Trump say tonight at the address? You'll be able to hear it right there on Kalshi kalshi.com/RSBN when it comes to the various polls that are out there. So check it out. You can go to the QR code. You can download the app if you'd like. You've got a few ways to get to that great site, kalshi.com/RSBN. Let's go to one more sponsor here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and that is coming up in 3, 2. Oh, just keep going on Kalshi? Okay.
All right, you guys, he is going to go ahead and talk on through that for a minute. I'm just going to jump back in and say that I'm going to be here next Wednesday night with Mr. Sheriff Mack at 7 p.m. I hope you guys will tune in to that show. I'm keeping an eye on when the president will start while they are running their commercial ads. I figured we would fit that in. Also, you guys, there's some great shows here on our network. If you want to scroll through, we've been off on a hiatus. Yes, we have. We've taken a little bit of a hiatus. It's been exhausting. I won't get into so much of the personal aspect of everything. However, I am slowly returning to the mic and happy to be here. So my son's getting married in September, and I'll be back full time after that. So lots of great things up and coming with President Trump. I'm super excited to hear what findings he has actually found regarding the 2020 election. If we could just discuss that for a couple minutes. This is how we got here. It was the 2020 election that brought us around, that woke us up and peeled, some eyes open. It was the 2020 election that we knew was sour. So I'm really upset with the mainstream media who decided to cut him off tonight and use their old tactics and their old playbooks of censorship. That is why we're going to go ahead and stream this tonight to everyone, possible. I hope you guys will share it and subscribe, and anybody else's streams. We are not stingy about it that are out there. Please share them, because this is the time that we patriots actually need to band together and remember who we voted into office, what was our mission when we began, and are you getting there yet? I know we're going to talk about accountability at some point. You cannot have a 2020 election stolen, provide the evidence, and not have accountability. So we're moving in the right direction. Let's just try to keep that positive flair for a moment, okay? So I'm super stoked to hear what he has to say tonight. I hope all y'all will stick with us till the end. If you can, share the stream out, give it a big like, give it a subscribe. I'm just Jody from the Patriots Helping Patriots Network, and I am going to see you all soon. You guys, we're going to cut back in over on the stream and see what exactly they have going on, and see if their ad is over yet. Okay,
in Europe, we see
so
something
see you
in
later.
Africa, we see something in the States, and then you guys can alter and say, hey, well, we have this to help the people for that. I mean, is that simply what you guys do sometimes?
Ultimately, yeah. We sit down with a group of pharmacists. We have a conversation with them. We go over what is best.
Okay, as you can tell, I am not a big, huge fan of all the ads. We're going to let RSBN's ads play out. I'll jump in the corner up here so I'm not just hiding behind someone I don't even know on the screen who is advertising a product, all right? No script tonight. I just wanted to jump on and air this with all y'all. We have nothing written, nothing to go over. As you know, it has been such a moment for our country. The precipice of this entire movement is probably riding on a lot of what is said tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing what information is going to be provided, what proof and what evidence, what findings have they found that we don't know about already. Because as far as we know, we're sitting here right now because we believed in the beginning this election was stolen from 2020, right? So let's not get off course with how we landed here. That is what, through the mask on our face, that is what locked us up in our houses in Michigan, I will say, with our, fabulous Governor Whitmer. So there was a lot of things that if we think back, I'm on YouTube tonight, so I'm kind of using my words. But yes, we are on YouTube, X, and Rumble tonight. I don't want to keep carrying words over that are going to get us flagged. So just read through the, lines a little bit if you can, and I'll stutter around with it if I need to. Basically, you know why we're here. There was a thing that happened to America, and it had a 19 after it. And many of us got locked up in the house. And around that time, we also realized that they were going to steal the election. and our president was not going to be able to be our president, not rightly voted in anyway. So let's see what findings he has. I can see that the commercial for RSBN is still playing. Hulu and Fox does not have them up yet. So unfortunately, you're just stuck with me in my little polka dot shirt with my American flag on it until we get something better than a 10% off coupon from RSBN, who has their ad running. All right. So we have over 100 in the house, and 65 of them are on Rumble. Thank you guys for being here so much. I'd really appreciate it if you drop a line in the chat and get this algorithm moving. And we'll see how many people we can get here tonight to listen to the president speak. I'm thinking this is going to be bigger than a State of the Union address, to be honest with you. The vibe is there. We're really figuring out so many things about not just the election, but things with Iran, right? So is he going to shine light on that as well? I won't speculate into who's involved and what foreign entities and what will be proven. That's why we're here. We're just here to learn that directly from the president and report it accordingly with transparency and honesty, because that seems to be the problem with the mainstream media, if I must say so myself. No one wants to just say exactly what has been spoken or reported. Instead, we have a lot of opinions feeding into a lot of theories. And, you can say conspiracy if you want. I enjoy a good conspiracy. It's how I landed here. It's how I was able to wake up, right? So I'm not going to shoot the fire against the people who are actually on the other side of the theories. But I will say, I'm hoping that if people will listen with their hearts, with their souls, and with their integrity, that maybe we will get great reports tomorrow across the globe about what President Trump is really about to say tonight, okay? Because that is the ultimate goal. That is the ultimate goal, that people are just honest in America and report accordingly, and we don't behave like CNN and CBS, and I'm probably going to get a flag for saying this, and MSNBC and NBC. So I don't know. We'll see what YouTube does to me. It's not like that account is firing up since they took it from me for over 5 years, and it's recently just been returned. So you know how it goes. Anyway, I'll take it as a badge of honor. We're going to go ahead, click back over, see what's going on at RSBN. And if it's going to take any longer with their ads, I will continue on over to Fox to make sure that you do not miss a moment of President Trump's speech. Thank you guys for being here. And I'm going to say it again, hit that like and that subscribe and share this out. Thank you so much.
Hour with you guys. I see that number 561-717-6794. You can actually just simply ask some questions. And I think that's really sets you guys apart, is that customer service. And let's close with that.
Yeah. So what sets us apart is actually speaking to somebody here. You're actually, when you call that phone number, that is the phone number to the pharmacy. These are customer service technicians. These are customer service reps as well as pharmacy technicians. There are pharmacists here. We have doctors. They're not located in the pharmacy, as that is a big regulation that they cannot be located in the pharmacy. But we do have our physicians who are located throughout the United States that we can put you in touch with based on where you live.
Oh, good Lord. Is it just me, y'all, or are they going to keep running this ad?
But when you call that phone number, it's a real person. It's a real American. They live a very similar story to you live. They understand what you're going through and what you're looking for.
I promise you will never see an ad this long on the Patriots Helping Patriots Network.
Can't give a lot of medical advice. However, we have pharmacists on staff that can help with that. They are fortified at all times. And on top of that, we have a bunch of different physicians who give us the guidance that we need as well.
Awesome. Great stuff. Michael Kunstler, the owner of All Family Pharmacy. Thank you for what you guys do for the American people. And thank you for your partnership here at Right Side.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely. Good evening once again, and welcome back into RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. In just a few minutes, in front of the nation, President Trump delivers a primetime address from the White House. Tonight's national address is a kickoff of sorts from the fact that we have the midterm election, which is just 3.5 months away. This, as the White House is saying tonight, defending America's election integrity is paramount, and that American elections are for American citizens. Again, earlier, Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt posting the following quote saying, "Some of the facts that will be revealed in President Trump's speech tonight are truly shocking. If the networks were truly serving the public interest, they would air it, and as a country, we would collectively resolve to take action." So let's take a quick look at the Save America Act as we are awaiting President Trump any minute from now. Of course, it consists of voter ID, proof of citizenship, and no more mail-in ballots unless it's for military or medical or a few other instances. And the best way for it to pass right now is nuking the filibuster. We'll see what happens. There are a few on board with that, but we have to see some more momentum, of course, on Capitol Hill. And as we await that, we'll be covering it here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're live every day, Monday through Friday here, even on the weekends if there's any breaking news out there. So thank you so much for live streaming in right now as we get ready to cover President Trump's speech. And guess who's not covering it? Some in the mainstream media are deciding, let's have some censorship today in the United States of America. Why are they so afraid to cover something that reveals truth, evidence, receipts, and facts? We know what happened in 2020. We know what happened in 2020. So we're going to hear from President Trump here shortly. Again, this is going to be, I'm hearing, maybe a speech that is lasting about 23 minutes, that per some sources. So we'll see as that happens here, as it's now 8 o'clock on the Central Time Zone, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Thanks so much for watching from coast to coast, including the Mountain Time Zone, the Pacific Time Zone. We're getting ready now. As we saw earlier, Carolyn Levitt back at that podium for the White House press briefing, which was pretty awesome to see her back after maternity leave, and obviously a rock star, the GOAT of press secretaries, handling the press today, especially the press that was so concerned about President Trump's speech tonight. It didn't even happen yet, and they were all concerned about it. Well, you can watch it right here, and you can watch it in conservative media and to the other networks that are actually airing it. So great to see that. And those of you watching on your phone, whether it's on X or Rumble or YouTube or the app, thank you so much for doing so. Pass this link around to your friends and family. And guess what? We'll be live here tomorrow as well, covering 24/7 news here at RSBN and into next week. We know that September 9th and 10th is the midterm RNC National Convention as well. So a lot going on in the upcoming few months into the midterm elections. And of course, we see the president meeting with various leaders at the White House as well, just like earlier this week with the Iraqi prime minister. So you can see it all pretty much here on RSBN. So thanks so much again for live streaming in. It's all about we the people. Let's go to President Trump.
Before we begin, I'm proud to report that our country is safer, stronger, and far wealthier than it has ever been before. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murders, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of health care. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to TrumpAccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings we are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country, a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it, made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites, are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned, they couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls, and yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of L.A. and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together, Democrats, Republicans, independents, everybody. And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
The president delivering a primetime national address tonight from the White House saying, quote, "No trust equals no greatness when it comes to our elections." The commander-in-chief tonight declassifying critical intelligence showing foreign interference in our elections, including from China. Tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states bought, stolen, or were hacked from China, according to the president. You know, this makes a little bit of sense if you look back at 2020. We saw that first administration under President Trump, all that momentum. We saw Joe Biden hiding in the basement trying to do a campaign. We saw a COVID pandemic happen. And then all of this with evidence and receipts right here that we just saw.
All right, you guys, let me get Right Side Broadcasting out of here. Okay, I'm a little more excited than maybe Right Side Broadcasting because in my head, all of that adds up to the T word. I know we're over on the tube, but it ends with an N and it sounds like reason in the middle. Okay. So that's what I heard. I'm hearing the big T word just happened. We're hearing Biden mentioned with China, right? Election meddling. We're hearing Obama in there with the burn bags. Can we just talk about that? Can we just talk about the burn bags? Okay. What happened to the burn bags? I'm wearing my flag, okay? I just want you to know I'm not in full polka dots. This is the cutest, right? My sister-in-law got it for me. Anyway, burn bags. I'm off topic. Burn bags. This is something I have been waiting to hear more and more about as we're going on. Thank you, YouTube, for turning out today at 900 people. You guys rock. I've missed you, and I'm just so glad to be back on your platform. Let's see if I can stay here long enough. Thank you, X, as well. You guys rock as well. Thank you for sharing. And of course, our Rumble crew, that is where our home is at. You guys are going to want to go over there, get in the chat, because that's where the people are at. That's right. So anyway, it's a good time to link up with all of the patriots as we discuss this information. You know I'm going to have more to say because whitehouse.gov dropped the documents. I've already been meddling in the back. It's really interesting. You'll have to probably follow my X account or my True Social account at Just Jody or at Just Jody7 on X to get that information if you want it from, if you want to read it and investigate it. Otherwise, you're at whitehouse.gov on your own, figuring it out, right? Because I'm going to bring in some resources to break some of this down. So anyway, when I heard audits and I heard the T word with the reason in the middle, I decided right then and there that I know the direction we're headed in, and it sounds like indictments. I don't know. You can call it whatever you want. But if you think we can have an election stolen, have foreign entities involved, have two previous presidents be part of it, and all of our intelligence sources be called out and busted and nothing happen, I don't think so, people. I don't think so. That's not the direction that we are headed in, okay? The direction that we are headed in currently involves Homeland Security as well. So, let's just take that note that he basically called out CIA, DOJ and said, "Hey man, they're with me now." That's right. He said, "They're with me now and we're going to fire." He called upon those agencies to fire all of those people that were involved. Sounds like a big, huge cleaning of the swamp is starting to occur in front of our eyes. And more so, what I can really get excited about is America is back, baby. It's been back. And we need to focus on that because for most of us, like I said in the beginning, it is the 2020 election that landed us here and me in this seat with a lot of other patriots, millions and millions across the board that knew that election was the S word. That's right, Olin. I am on the tube. Let's just read through the lines tonight, okay? And it's so weird that I still have to discuss that way. But if they won't even air the president and they're going to censor him on mainstream media, I still got to be careful on the tube. So anyway, it's exposed high levels of hacking, foreign interference. We have documents released. Let's see. We have documents released from the White House task force was involved, right? So if you look into that and find out who's on that task force, you might be a little happy about it. The major challenge has always been free and fair elections. Without them, do we count? Or do they just insert? Right? So it sounds like that day is over, ladies and gentlemen. President Trump is bringing to the surface free and fair elections, probably for the first time in decades and decades and decades. Okay? So our lives have changed tonight. This is the golden era. And I am excited because we have results of a previous president, Joe Biden, interfering with China. We have results on Obama and his burn bags. That's all I needed. I didn't even need the rest. I'm going to come through it with a fine tooth comb later. But until then, I'm going to rest easy because tomorrow's going to be fabulous. You guys, I am Just Jody from the Patriots Helping Patriots Network. I have the Java with Just Jody show and the Patriots Helping Patriots podcast. That's right. We have a great lineup here with F. Simon. He is in the chat tonight. That's right. F. Simon has a show here. He will also be co-hosting some shows with me. We have Justin and Wendy Leone that do whatever they can and want to do. They have a show here too if you want to comb through their old show while they're off on hiatus. Not sure how that's working. And A Slice of Pie is here every Tuesday night. He is our J6er, and Pie's got a lot to be said. So until then, we will continue to run President Trump's streams anytime that they are censored. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. You guys, God bless you all. God bless POTUS 47, and God bless America. I'm just Jody, and I'm going to see you all soon. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching with us. Smooches, and good night, y'all.